Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Music Connection.
That's right. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. We're so happy. We have a very, very, very special guest today. Um, I have known him for a long time. You've known him for a little bit.
Well, I actually have known him longer. This is a riddle. I've known this man longer than I've known you.
That is a
You've
riddle.
known him longer than you've known me, but I've known him longer than I've known you. Riddle.
That's a riddle. That's right. And so let's not keep people in suspense anymore, and let's just bring our guest of today, Dr. Jorge Diaz-Herrera. Hello.
Hola,
Dr.
señor.
Diaz.
Maestro.
That was a good
Amigo.
That was a great introduction. Thank you. And it's true.
That is true. I've known you longer, but he's known you longer than he's known me, as life would have it. So, Papi, I have a couple of questions for you.
Oh, well, you just revealed. So, for people who don't know.
For people who don't know, this is my father, George's father-in-law,
My friend.
And our friend. And so, as you know, we are connecting with people one-on-one, and the tissue that keeps us together is music. And I know music is pivotal in your life, as it was in our lives as we were growing up along with you. And so, when do you discover music as a natural talent of yours?
I've always wondered that.
Oh, well, that's a good question. It was during my middle school. That is not middle school in Venezuela. So when you are 12, you finish your sixth grade, you go to high school. And you are there with these 17, 18-year-olds, and you're 12. So people were playing, and I discovered that I could learn to play the cuatro, and then I discovered that I could play the harp, and I loved it ever since. Yeah.
Jorge, there are people out there who have no idea what a cuatro is.
A cuatro is an instrument that looks like, sounds like, and it's tuned like a ukulele, which I think the Spaniards brought it from Manila, from the Philippines, to Latin America. I will show it to you later.
Okay, that's great. And so, did you have instruments growing up, or how did you develop?
That's a good story because I couldn't afford a harp, and I decided to make one. And I was 12, maybe 13, and always been little. And I had the measures wrong, and I made a humongous harp that I could fit inside the sound box. Before you put the cover, I could fit inside it. That's how I learned. I made my own. Yeah.
And so, did you gig around, or did you? How do you practice?
That cost me a divorce.
From which wife?
Yeah, we were then after I was pretty good. Well, after I could play, I made another one, but it was small enough that would fit in a car, in a small car. So we were out serenading every weekend, and that's how we practiced, and that's how we drank, and that's how we women.
We should hear how you evolved by listening to you play some.
And eventually, and so, so I want to ask you a question about the connection between, because people don't know this, but you are a scientist, right? You are a computer scientist, and this is your formal training, both in your undergrad and your postgraduate work. But so as a scientist and a musician, there seems to be a correlation between people
Sure.
who have a scientific mind oftentimes have a very artistic side as well. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but it's true. And then if you're a computer scientist and you study a little bit of music, by the way, I wanted to learn to read music when I was a kid, but the music school in Barquisimeto, my hometown, did not take you if you didn't want to be a real musician. So it was a pain. You have to learn to read music and sing solfeo for a year before you could touch an instrument. So I gave up. I said, no, I want to play.
That
So
sounds like
anyway,
me.
exactly. So I learned by ear. I read music really bad. When I wanted to play the pedal harp, and I gave it up. It's too hard for my age. But music is binary, and computer code is binary, and that was an interesting connection there. I don't know if it has anything to do with the artistic side, but at least with the mechanics of it, I could figure it out. Okay, that's 2/8, 2/16, 2/32, 64th. Everything is in powers of two, and
My
that makes
goodness.
sense to me a lot of sense to me.
So,
So
go ahead.
I had a little story about learning to read music and playing the pedal harp. My teacher made me play. I was playing a little minuet from Tchaikovsky, believe it or not, for the harp, 2 pages. And I'm playing, and I noticed that my teacher wanted to laugh, but she did not. When I finished, she laughed like crazy. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Jorge, are you dyslexic?" I said, "No. Why?" "Your right hand is backwards." I said, "What?" "Yeah, you're playing the high notes. You're playing low, and the low notes you're playing high. How is that possible?" I said, I don't know. This is what it is. The music for the harp is written exactly as the music for the piano. Left hand, right hand, right? And in the piano, you go like this, you go like this, right? It's backwards on the picture. But in the harp, watch what happens to your right hand. It turns. So because my right hand turned, my mind turned all the notes. And I didn't
Wow.
even notice.
Jorge, was this the teacher you had who taught at Eastman, the
Yeah.
School of Music, when
And
you were
she's
up at Rochester?
yeah, and she graduated from Juilliard with Philip Glass.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. That
yeah,
is very cool.
very cool.
So you talk about numbers and fractions, and I feel that Venezuelans' folkloric rhythms are the time signatures are very interesting. They're syncopated usually. If it's not a waltz, they're syncopated, and it's a weird time signature, like a 5/8 or something like that.
It's 6/8.
6/8. It's weird. Where do you think that comes from?
Actually, that's a good question. The folkloric music of most of Latin America is 6/8. Mexico, son jarocho, Venezuelan joropo, you name it. And it's fandango. The fandango in Spain is 6/8. And that's where it comes from. However, a Spanish friend of mine, I was talking to him about that, and then he researched it, and then he said, actually, it looks like that the fandango came from Latin America in the 1700s. I don't know.
I, I,
It's 6/8. It's 6/8. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think it's what makes it so riveting. I was telling George, I had a revelation in one of our walks a couple of days ago, and I said, I think when I retire, I'm gonna go study ethnomusicology because I think it's interesting. It's just very fascinating to see the connections and to see, and so. But we're getting into the weeds with this talk about music. Why don't we let people hear what 6/8 time
we're talking
signature sounds like?
Actually, that's a really nice lead in. Yes. I'm going to play an arrangement that I made of a traditional flamenco melody with a Venezuelan traditional sound
Okay.
or rhythm. And I call it homage to Spain.
No.
All right,
Jorge Diaz-Herrera.
let's get situated. there.
Eso.
That was beautiful.
Wow, beautiful, Jorge. Absolutely beautiful. And it's been watching people's responses throughout. It's really lovely.
I know we're all thinking of our grandmothers right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was beautiful. And Maria Ángeles said that el fandango ha cruzado el charco dos veces.
What was that?
El fandango ha cruzado el charco dos veces.
Ah, okay.
So-
She told me that. She told me that it was something between the two cultures.
That's right. We'll have to get together with another friend of ours who plays son jarocho and talk about the similarities, because there's a lot of similarities.
Oh yeah.
So, Papi, now that I see you touching the keys there, that is a modern harp, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. This is a very special harp. It's made in France, and this very artistic and prodigious harpist from Colombia that lives in New Jersey finds himself in a harp festival in Paris, playing the Latin American harp, which is like an Irish harp. It's a diatonic. It doesn't have flats or sharps or no accidents, just the white keys of the piano. And this guy from this famous Carmack, it's called Carmack harp makers, saw him, and he saw such a virtuoso player that he talked to them and he said, "Can you make a Venezuelan Colombian harp called arpa llanera and put levers so that we could go and change keys easily?" And they did. And that's this one. It's called the EC Llanera.
Jorge, for those of us who don't know about the folk harp and the classical harp, you play them different? You strum them differently, right?
Yeah. Well, the classical harp is just like this in terms of the white keys of the piano, but it has pedals, 7 pedals. So every single note can go flat, natural, or sharp. Here, we can't do that with pedals, so we do it with levers, and it's limited. The classical harp is played with the tips, your fingertips. The Latin American harp is played with the fingernails. So if I want to play one or the other, I have to plan months ahead of time.
Oh,
So what else do you have in your repertoire for our friends watching at home?
I thought I would do something. The Venezuelan music, it's accompanied with other instruments. Cuatro, which is like a ukulele, this guy here. And also maracas. And sometimes when we play Caribbean rhythms. So what I decided to do, obviously I cannot play all those things at the same time, but I do have a little tape here that I think works just fine.
Okay, let's hear it.
I hope I don't mess it up, but I think I better wear these guys. Excuse me a minute. Oh, they're hard to put on. Okay. Sorry. You guys talk.
You're good. We're just glad you're here, man.
All right. Because I have to, if I don't hear the music from the computer, I get lost.
Sinovia, Nancy, and Monche are on.
Oh, they're
Rosario. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, good. Here we go.
Hola.
Come on. Okay. See, I changed it to D major now, just flipping a few things. Here we go. There.
Wonderful.
Bravo!
Oh.
That was great.
Yes.
Wonderful. That sounded great.
That's traditional Venezuelan pasaje.
That's right.
Purple.
Oh, it makes me homesick, Jorge.
Well, you know, you can always go back.
That's right. One day, definitely.
We will.
With you. Yes, we will.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of the future, Papi, what do you think was going to help us not only stay connected but also use music to keep us alive?
Music is universal language. Everybody knows that. And not only touches your heart, but it touches your mind. It makes you think. When you hear Beethoven and you pay attention to what he's doing, your mind translate the sounds into sometimes action. And he said it famously, the composer owns your mind. If we want you to march, we play a march. If we want you to dance, we play your waltz. What a polka. If we want you to cry, we play you a moonlight serenade.
That's right.
Well, you've moved us very much.
Composer.
This was wonderful, Papi. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Oh,
being
my
with
pleasure.
us. This is how we are trying to stay connected and alive, and I hope that you are loving it.
That's a great idea, Jose and George. You guys are doing great. I love it. I haven't missed any.
Well, thanks, and we love you, man.
We love you, and we can't wait to see you in the flesh. And stay tuned. There is more coming this week. We have a couple more special guests. So
Thanks.
bye, Papi. We love
Ciao,
you.
Jorge.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone
Papi.
at home. And
Everybody take care.
Stay there for a second, Papi.
Okay. Bye.